When will animal husbandry stop and why we need to stop or limit eating animal products? People have been using farm animals for a long time for different purposes. But what is animal husbandry? Animal husbandry is the practice of breeding and raising livestock for food production. Farm animals, that is all species of animals raised by humans that are directly related to agriculture production. Humanity produced a large amount of animal products. So the world produced 370.1 million tons of meat in 2023, milk 968.2 million tons, eggs 97.4 million tons. Almost 95 billion farm animals are slaughtered for meat every year, and 84.6 billion of them are chicken. And let's look other aspects of animal husbandry. And today, farm animals are kept indoor, which is unnatural. Cows, for example, are kept indoor all year round. But animals should live in nature. Today's animal breeds are artificial. Animal breeds have acquired many genetic diseases and lost the ability to adapt to environment through selection and genetics. Animal farming makes a significant contribution to global climate change at all levels, from local to global. At present, 141 million dairy cows are kept worldwide, with the European Union, United States, India being the most important milk producers. Do the cow have pasture? Often no or limit time, and there are significant difference in access to pasture across Europe from 98% in Irish to non-access to pasture. In the United States, just 34% of dairy of dry cow and 20% of lactation cows are let out to pasture. Farm animals are kept on concrete floor, and that is a risk factor for lameness, mastitis, injuries, restrict movement for animals, and this health issue are painful for cattle and may contribute to higher mortality in herd without pasture access. About 60% of the world's agricultural land is grazing land, and grazing animals supply about 10% of the world's production of beef and about 60% of the world's production of sheep and goat's meat. Recent year, Kazakhstan has also seen the construction of a large number of dairy farms and the export of foreign breeding animals. Due to the high degree of selection, farm animals occur a large number of genetic diseases. And how these animal genetic diseases will affect humans in the future, we don't know. Genetic selection of broilers has led to significant welfare problem in birds' growth for meat. Recent studies has reported the prevalence of birds with moderate to severe gait impairment to be between 5.5 and 38.8%. Today people want to eat chicken breast and breeders has made it big. And as we can see, the center of gravity has shifted. So birds often have problem with their legs. Let's consider ecology aspects of livestock husbandry. One of the negative impact of animal husbandry on the environment is deforestation. Over the past quarter century, forest has been cleared from an area the size of India, particularly the Central and South America expansion of pasture for livestock production has been one of the driving forces behind the wholesale destruction. Tropical forests host more than 13 million distinct species, representing more than two-thirds of all the world's plants and animals. Experts estimate that in the course of a decade, between 2 and 5% of all rainforest species wild become extinct, largely as a result of habitat loss caused by deforestation. The largest meat producers in the world, that is China, USA, Brazil, has a large amount of tropical forest. Pasture expansion for cattle production is the main driver for deforestation and has been linked to 80% of clearing. Agriculture accounts for 60% of the world's freshwater withdrawal. In Kazakhstan, this is 65%. But the share of agriculture in Kazakhstan's GDP is only 3.8%. We spend 65% of water to get 3.8% of the GDP. How much water necessary for beef production? Calculations for British beef as well as study for other beef producing countries have accessed this at more than 15,000 liters for each kilos. There are many studies of water requirement for beef production depending on animal housing system and other aspects. For example, in these studies, the average water footprint of New Mexico beef cattle was more than 28,000 liters per 1 kilos of meat. Animal agriculture is a major producer of greenhouse gas emission, equivalent to more than 14% of global emissions. There are other data and other opinion about greenhouse gases from livestock. Here we can see 51%. In 2018, annually GHG emissions from livestock manure were more than 1.4 billion tons CO2. Livestock production contributes about 37% of methane emission and about 65% of nitrous oxide emission worldwide. China, Brazil, India, United States were among the top countries generating the most livestock manure and related emissions. Meat eaters have a greater impact on the environment than vegans. Vegan and vegetarian diet have substantially lower GHG emissions, land and water use requirement than meat-containing diet, and that diets with reduced animal-based food tend to be healthier and have lower environment impact. Scientists of Oxford University shows, and how we can see vegan diet has a lower impact on the environment. Um, Less CO2, less CH4 and N2O. Also, plant-based diet use less water, less land, and have less impact on biodiversity. What can be done to reduce the environmental impact of livestock farming? At least reduce the production, consumption of livestock products, and at maximum stop using farm animals.